Kayla Harrison, two-time Olympic gold medalist in judo. First American to win a gold medal in judo. Man or woman.
That's right, first American.
And now she's part of the Professional Fighters League, which is such a cool concept. They actually have a regular season, playoffs, and then a championship, and then the winner will win $1 million on New Year's Eve. But what better way to celebrate New Year's Eve?
I can't think of a better way to win
$1 million. And to be the champion as well.
I mean, that's what I care about more than the million, but it's a nice little purse, isn't it?
So you get started in judo when you're very young. You're 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
How does this happen? Family take you to judo, you see something, they see something for classes?
Well, it's actually a funny story. My mom actually took judo as sort of like a self-defense course in college. And when I was young, I guess I was watching TV and I saw a karate commercial or I saw some ninja show and I was running around the house breaking stuff and like thinking I was a ninja. And my mom was like, okay, we got to get this girl into something. And she knew from experience that judo was a really great martial art, not just for self-defense, but self-discipline, you know, learning all of those things that I think every kid should have to learn from a young age. It was great. And I loved it. From the first time I walked into the dojo, that was it. I was hooked.
When did you really start to excel in it?
Oh, not for a long time. I actually didn't. About a year after I started, I went to my first judo competition. And then...
Do you guys still have video of that?
Oh my God, probably somewhere.
Someone we're doing the documentary years later. That'll come up. Or one of the...
see a little round ball, Kayla. Yeah, I didn't win a match for like the first 3 years that I competed in judo. I was not very good. But I kept going and I loved it. I loved just like, I don't know, no one at my school did it and I got to like go to, I thought at the time, you know, I'm 7 years old, I'm like, I'm going to all these cool places like the Holiday Inn and, you know, Indianapolis, like, I get to swim in the pool and like, I was just like, I got to miss school on Fridays, you know, to go to the tournament. So I felt special and I wanted to be good. I didn't like losing even when I was that young. So I kept going. And then not only did I keep going, but I started going to more practices. And it went from, you know, okay, we're going to go twice a week to, all right, we're going to go 3 times a week to, okay, we're going to go every day to, okay, we're going to get up and run in the morning and then we're going to go to wrestling practice and then we're going to go from wrestling practice to judo and then you do the homework in the car on the way and then, okay, we're going to try and qualify for the Olympic trials at 14 and then you qualify and then, okay, we're going to try and make the Olympic team and move to Boston to train with the Olympic coaches. So it sort of just snowballed, you know.
You're from Ohio.
Yes, I am.
Are you a Cavaliers, Browns, LeBron fan?
Oh, man. Okay, so I'm from Southern Ohio, all right? Middletown is closer to Cincinnati, Dayton area.
Bengals, Reds.
Yes, but my family is a divided house. So my grandparents, one of them's a diehard Browns fan and one of them's a diehard Bengals fan. And it is just... like, I mean, at this point, it's adorable that they still, like, argue about it and who's better because we all know who's better. But, you know, my Mimi is the Browns fan, and she always holds out hope that, you know, they're going to be good or something's going to happen, miracles, I don't know.
You don't live in Cleveland! There's a famous line, they'll look it up. Someone will look it up like that, and all. It was Coach Sam White. Cincinnati, they're throwing things at all the players in the Browns, and Sam White actually takes the mic during a pro football game. Never happens.
Yeah.
Let's show some respect. You don't live in Cleveland, as the Cincinnati coach says to all his fans. And they were all like, yeah, he's right. We're not throwing anything anymore.
So funny.
You don't live in Cleveland. Oh, my gosh.
That's awesome.
All right. So were you ever a pro wrestling fan?
My dad watched it when I was growing up, so I watched a little bit of it, but not a ton. I was really very shortly into, like, you know, Stone Cold and Goldberg and Rock. Like, that was kind of my era for a very brief moment in time, but I didn't, like, I wasn't, like, doing, you know, like, the friggin' Stone Cold stunner to my sister or anything.
Because that's where it's going with that. Because is this something to consider doing like Ronda Rousey did? And incredible she did with it.
I know, she's great, but she's like, she's going to be mean. Can you even see me, like, flipping someone off? Or, you know, like, I don't know. I just don't have it in me. Like, I would, like, go to, like, pick someone up and start laughing. You know, like, are you okay? I don't know. If it's not real, I like real sports. It's hard for me to, like, pretend to hurt someone. I don't know.
Did you ever see Ronda in WWE?
I've watched a little bit here and there, but I don't follow it super closely now. But I think she's, from what I've heard, a lot of people here love pro wrestling at ATT. Like they're like the owner Dan, he's like.
Yeah, Dan Lambert has been on
he's
TV
like
on wrestling shows.
Obsessed. Like it's a little creepy.
King Mo, John Hartnett, Blake, the whole
they're all
crew of them.
freaks. I know they are, but he says she's really good at it actually. So maybe I'll have to make it out to a show next time. You know.
What is your relationship like with Ronda?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we're not like pen pals or anything. We're not best buds. We kind of drifted apart after she left Boston. She kind of had a little bit of a falling out with my coaches. She moved to California, so we weren't really doing the same thing. I wasn't anywhere near the MMA world, and I was, training for the Olympics. So, but I would say we have a good relationship. I can text her if I need anything. She knows she can always text me. I mean, she doesn't need anything from me. She's a superstar, but if she needed anything, she could. And I always think of her fondly.
You trained with her
in
Boston.
I mean, you don't spend years traveling with someone and like walking into your apartment and seeing them, eating cereal at the kitchen counter naked and not, have a little bit of a relationship, There's something that'll always, and also just, I'm following in her footsteps. So, of course people are going to compare us and I'm going to have to talk about her and think about her and learn from her. But yeah, I wish Ronda nothing but the best.
But that's so cool too.
Yeah.
You both excelled in judo.
I know. My coaches.
She excelled in MMA. Now you're starting to excel in MMA.
My coaches, Jimmy and Big Jim, love telling this story about how, like, at one point, Ronda was, I was young, up and coming. I maybe had just won the Junior Worlds or something, and Ronda had just won a silver medal at the Worlds, and, we're both becoming these stars, and lo and behold, we're both going on to go do great things. But at one point in time, we're both on their gym, on their mats, and we're both crying, because like the practice is hard, or we didn't get a throw, or something happened, and Big Jim and Jimmy Love, like, they both just look at each other like, can you believe we have the two toughest women in the world just crying right now?
And most competitive, by the way.
And most competitive women, for sure. She's very competitive, which I love about her.
Where are the gold medals?
Oh, they're in socks.
I hope those are expensive socks.
So Allie Raisman, who's an Olympian from Boston, a gymnast, she actually has a sock collection. So she sends me like all these socks, and they're like really cute, but they're like kind of high socks I don't wear, but they make perfect medal holders. So I put my medals in them.
The socks are design socks with special prints on there, right?
Yes, they are.
Colors and
USA versions, and we have a Halloween version. She has all kinds of cute ones.
What does Jimmy Pedro mean to you?
Yeah, they both, the Big Jim and his son Jimmy, not only did they change my life, but they saved my life. I went to them at a place, I was in a really dark spot. I was a little bit at rock bottom. I mean, beyond rock bottom, I guess you could say. And they took this broken kid and they turned her into a champion, not just in sport, but in life. How I carry myself and who I am and the person that I want to be is a direct result of their leadership and their qualities. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for them.
Always need people like that in your life.
How lucky
so
am
important.
I? I mean, I could have ended up on anybody's doorstep, but it was theirs. And they're not just great coaches, they're amazing people.
Tell us about the Fearless Foundation.
Yeah.
Something you started after retiring from judo.
Yeah.
And whatever you could tell us about it and the importance of it. And I know you had struggles in your life.
So I was sexually abused by my first coach, and I shared with my mom when I was 16, which is why I moved to Boston. One of the big reasons was to get out of Ohio, get away from that. My mom pressed charges. The FBI got involved, and he served 10 years in a federal prison.
It's not enough, by the way.
Thank you. I mean, I have forgiven, so, But I didn't really ever talk about it. The Pedros made sure I went to therapy, and I went to school, and I sort of, through judo and through having a goal, I started to heal, but I never really talked about it with people close to me or anything. And then right before this,
it's not something you talk about.
I mean, it was very taboo. I mean, this is 10, 12 years ago at the time as well, so it's not really like it's a much different environment now, in a good way, I think. But at the time, it wasn't, you know, I couldn't talk to my judo buddies about like that. I mean, everyone knew, but we just didn't talk about it. But shortly before the 2012 Olympics, USA Today, I think, or someone came to Boston to do a piece on me. And it was literally right when the Jerry Sandusky scandal was happening. And I actually...
Penn State.
Yep, exactly. I actually got in a fight with one of my friends the night before the interview about Joe Paterno getting fired, and, you know, they were like, kids were rioting at Penn State and like flipping cars because a football coach had lost his job, but no one was rioting because these, you know, victims' lives had been changed forever. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe those were my peers. I couldn't believe that was our society. I couldn't believe that was the reaction. And the next day at the interview, the reporter asked me, like, she had talked to Jimmy, and she said, listen, Jimmy alluded to the fact that you had to go through a lot to get to where you are now. Do you want to talk about that? And no one had ever asked me that. No one had ever said, do you want to talk about that? Do you want to share that? And at first I was like, what the hell? Like, is it weird to say, like, no comment? Like, you know, I was 20 years old, 21 years old. I didn't know how to respond. But then I thought, you know what? No, I am going to say something. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to, you know, the reason that these kids are rioting about a football coach is because sexual abuse doesn't have a face. You know, these victims are faceless. Kids, child sexual abuse, people think it doesn't happen to them, you know, because they're not in the Boy Scouts, or they're not Catholic, or they're not at Penn State, or whatever the case. But guess what? It does happen. It happens everywhere, and it doesn't know race or how much money's in your bank account or what street you live on or what country you're from. It happens all over. And so I shared my story, and basically since then I didn't shut up. Haven't shut up. And then after the 2012 Olympics, a lot of Olympians get, you know, the phone starts ringing off the hook. When you win a gold medal, your life changes forever. And, you know, a lot of Olympians are endorsement deals, and can you come do this, can you come do that? And my phone was ringing off the hook with, the same thing happened to my daughter. Can you come speak to her school? Or our charities, you know, we're hosting a fundraiser. Can you come share your story? And I said yes to as much as I could, but, you know, it's hard. It's hard to share your story over and over again. And I realized as I was going to all these events and all these charities and all these fundraisers, like, there is no big organization for victims of sexual abuse. There's no Live Strong. There's no Susan G. Komen. There's no thing where you can go to online and say, okay, I want to donate my time, my money, and my effort into ending this. So I decided to start the Fearless Foundation. And the first part of it is education. So I just finished a book last year after about 5 years of trying to write it. It's an educational book called Fighting Back. And it is not a memoir, and it's not a textbook. It's sort of a combination of the two. So it uses my story. I actually kept a diary the entire time. So from the time I was, like, I think the earliest entry is maybe 10 years old or something. And it shows you what sexual abuse is and how we can help to prevent it and how we can talk to our kids about it. It shows you, okay, you know, this is what Kayla was going through. This is her journal entry. This is what grooming looks like, and this is what it looks like in the silence, and this is why kids stay silent. So I encourage everyone to pick up a copy. But that's the first part, is education. So my goal is, we're writing a curriculum now. I want to get it into the health class. You know, I wanted to get into the curriculum in the United States. I want every 7th grader to have to read this and talk to people about it, and I want it to become part of our conversation, because we have all of this educational material about stranger danger and, you know, safe sex and saying no to drugs and, you know, cyberbullying and all kinds of stuff, but we don't really have any educational material on what you should do if someone close to you tries to take advantage of you. And I think that if we start having that conversation, the numbers will go down a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And if I can help be a part of that, then everything wasn't in vain, and my life will have meaning, and my life will have purpose.
Your life already has meaning, and your life already has purpose.
Thank you.
By the way.
I think so, but...
Family support, how important when you're going through the ups and when you're going through the struggles.
Yeah.
Is it to have that family support? And how was it for you?
I mean, it's, you know, my family has always supported everything I've done. They're a very strong foundation in my life. Even though I left home at a young age, you know, they were always there for me, always supporting me. I'll have to admit, they were a little hesitant about the MMA career. You know, my mom is a nurse, my dad was a nurse, my grandmother's a nurse, so a lot of them were like, I don't know, like, head trauma, this, that, and the other, but I assured them, listen, I'm not going to get hit. What every lie, the lie that every MMA fighter tells their mom. And,
I'm not going to get hit.
That's what I said.
And that worked? Wait a minute.
They just want me to.
Not to make light of anything. That could be a book in itself right there.
I know. But they just want me to be happy and successful. And
you should have just said to them, you're all in the medical field. If anything happens, help me.
You.
Right.
Yeah, don't worry, I got you guys. My mom loves to play doctor. Anything happens and she thinks she's like Dr. House or something. She's like, tell me the symptoms. It could be this, it could be that. Well, are they cleaning the mats every day? It could be this infection. And I'm like, Mom, I have a summer cold. Like, it's relax. Or like something hurts, she's like, oh, it could be muscular, but it could be bone. You need to go get an x-ray right away. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go get an x-ray because I bruised my knee. Like, I'm going to be okay.
Is she as sarcastic and funny as Dr. House, too?
God, no. She does love Dr. House, but she's a goofball. She's definitely, I get the center of attention thing from her and the loud, outgoing thing from her.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. And thank you so much,
problem.
Kayla Harrison, for taking the time. It's been so fun.
Really enjoyed it.
Really, I did too. And we're going to we'll end it with, you can give information about the Fearless Foundation if people want to check that out. But before that, one of my favorite TV shows.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Sal Q.
Yes, and Murr. And Joe,
that's right. Good call. Sal, Q, Murr, Joe. And by the way, two of them are big wrestling fans. Just throwing that out there. So, Impractical Jokers on True TV. You've been on it not once, but twice.
They actually also asked me to be in the movie. They offered me a job. Like, I don't know why. They just loved me beating the crap out of Murr. But they were like, listen, what are you doing? Do you want to come work for us and just follow us around and beat the crap out of Murr? And I was like, I'm kind of pursuing something right now, but if it doesn't work out, I'll give you a call. And then I was like about to make my debut for my first fight, and they were like, we're shooting the movie. We want you to come down. We're not going to tell Murr. And I was like, guys, I literally fight in like 2 days. I cannot do that, but thank you for thinking of me. And they're like, all right, we're going to get you back on somehow, some way. But I loved it. They're such nice guys. It was such a fun experience. I was a little nervous because you never know. I mean, it's a grown man, and, it can go wrong. Like, I was like, am I really going to have to beat their crap?
You threw him and did that judo through the table all throughout the place.
He literally had no idea. Like, he was scared. He did not, it was all real. The only people who were in on it were me, the owner of the house, and the guys.
And the three of the guys. Murr lost the challenge, so people know Murr lost the challenge, so this was part of his punishment. This was the main part of his punishment.
None of the guests were in on it. No one knew. It was and I was really nervous. I was like, what if I mess it up? Like, what if I accidentally hurt him? Did he sign a waiver?
The other guys would have been fine if you would have hurt him. They wouldn't care. That's like, it's such a funny show.
Such a great experience.
But how do you get that? How does that happen?
Because
you weren't looking to be in TV or anything, right?
No, listen, I was completely by this random act. I don't know, some producer or something saw me in the Olympics, and they emailed my assistant, and my assistant's sons are huge fans of the show. I had never even seen it before, and she was like, no, you have to do this. Trust me, you have to do this. Because I was like, I don't know. Sounds kind of dopey. Like, I don't know. And she was like, no, Kayla, you're doing this. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I'm so glad I did. I loved it. Then when they asked me to come back, I was like, of course, I can't wait. This will be so much fun. And honestly, if the MMA thing hadn't worked out, I totally would have taken a job with them. Because what would be more fun than traveling around with them, watching them do their thing, and then every once in a while beating the crap out of Murr. Like, great gig.
All right, so the Fearless Foundation, how can people check that out?
Well, first of all, I encourage everyone to get the book. It's available on Amazon and stores. It's called Fighting Back, what an Olympic champion story can teach you about surviving and recovering from sexual abuse, child sexual abuse, something like that. Just type in Fighting Back Kayla Harrison. And you can find out more about the Fearless Foundation on my website, which is KaylaHarrison.com. If you want, you can also make a donation. It's nonprofit, so you can do that. You can mail a check to ATT, and it'll go to the foundation. You just put Fearless Foundation. I'm working on a PayPal account for it right now, so that's still, I'm very slow with the technology, but I'm working on it. It's getting there. And pretty soon it'll have its own website as well, not just KaylaHarrison.com. But there is a foundation section on there. So go check it out and learn more.
This has been an ultimate pleasure.
My pleasure.
To do this, so I thank you so much, and
great end to the day.
all the best with the Professional Fighters
Thank
League.
you.
That thing's, and we'll look forward to seeing you New Year's
Better
Eve.
watch.
New Year's Eve. Well, July the 11th?
July 11th.
July 11th.
ESPN2, tune in. It'll be fun. It'll be like celebrating my birthday and America's birthday. And then we're going to have real fireworks on New Year's Eve.
New
Win that
Year's
$1 million.
Eve. The championship and $1 million. Kayla Harrison, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.